Hi everyone, welcome to this short video on the pattern recognition software in the CMC Markets Next Generation CFD platform. My name's Chris Fulton. This should only take about 10 minutes to get through. So what I'm going to be talking about now is a feature that we've released with the platform, and we've really been working on it till it's sort of its ultimate iteration, which it's in now, which is about finished about July 2013. It's a huge feature of the platform. It's gaining a lot of momentum. I think we have over 15,000 of our clients now using it, and it's a common feature used, and we hear a lot of feedback from clients on it. So just want to sort of go through some of the features of it today and make sure that you're getting the most out of it if you're using it. If you're not using it, I just sort of want to let you know about the software. So first of all, what I might do is I'll just go to a blank page here, so it's just easy to explain really. So to find the pattern recognition software, I'm just going to click on Pattern Tools up here, and I'll bring in pattern recognition. Now this is the scanner. There is another way to get it, but I'll get through that later. This is actually the scanner. So first of all, I need to set up the criteria for my pattern recognition. Now, the way to do that is I want to be on this subscribe button. Now, it's not a cost to a client, so if you've got a live funded account, you'll get this for free. I want to call it something, so I'm just going to call it CMC Test today. And then I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select the patterns. Now, I've got all these patterns here I can select, and it'll give you an idea of what they're actually going to do. It's the I'm just going to look at wedge, channel, and triangle today, just to keep it a little bit simple. Product type, again, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go currencies, index, and commodities. Time interview, I'll go all. Generally, I'll just use a daily chart, and I'll drill down into hours, and I'll keep drilling down in it while I'm looking at it. But just for today's purposes, we'll just use that. And patterns we'll have emerging and completed, and I'll sort of explain the difference between the two as I go through. So once I've done all that, I'm subscribing to the data, so I'm requesting the data be set up now. And this is my test here, and I can set up, as you can see, I can set up to 5 different criteria. Click on the middle tab here, which is emerging and completed, and it's splitting up the patterns that I've set up as to whether they're actually setting themselves up to complete, or they have actually completed yet. So just concentrating on the top half of this here, which is the emergent patterns. So what it's telling me is I've got these products down the side here, and it's telling me what the trend is, if it's bullish or bearish. And the interval. The interval is basically, is it based on a 15-minute chart, a 1-day chart, a 4-hour chart, whatever criteria I set up for, and the length. So the more intervals within that period, the more probable that might be. So, and then I've got stars here. Now, the stars, the star rating system matches up MACD, RSI, stochastics, DMI negative, DMI plus, and ADX. So some of the most commonly used indicators. If they all confirm that the direction that the pattern recognition of the triangle, the head and the wedge that I've put in, if they all confirm it's heading the same way, then you'll get a star. So down here with the Euro Swiss, there's only one star, so maybe only the MACD's matching up. But that could just mean that the others haven't formed yet, and they're still waiting on more data. So looking at this one here, I'll just have a click on it, and I'll bring up the chart. And you can see it'll bring up the Japanese 225 chart, and it'll show me this the pattern that it's forming. So the reason it hasn't completed yet, and it looks like it was almost to a point there where it was going to complete and hit the high and come around. But this ascending wedge that it's into, it hasn't broken the top, and it also obviously hasn't broken the bottom. So it's still emerging. I mean, this might be one to keep an eye on. It's had a crack at it a couple of times up here. So what I'll do with this one is I'm just going to stick a little tick over here and there, and it's going to alert me. So I'm going to get a pop-up when it actually comes out of that emerging, and either going to break the top, which I think it looks likely there, or as it's saying here, bearish. So it's had a couple of cracks at it. It's not going to get through. It's going to go down. So either way, it's going to tell me which one's going to happen. Obviously, if it breaks on the bottom or the top, it's actually going to move down into the completed pattern area. So when I'm looking at completed patterns, I've got, again, the similar information. I've got the product times and the product code, and whether it's bullish or bearish, and intervals, and the stars all mean exactly the same things. But what I actually have here now further is I have the breakout level. So what level did the actual break out of that actual pattern? And I have the points change. Now red means that it's actually gone against that pattern recognition, and green means it's actually gone in the favour of that pattern recognition. And I can see the potential. So looking at this South African one here, the potential was 220 points, but it's already made up 125 of that already. So I've sort of missed the boat on that one. But I can go down and I can sort of have a look at a few of these, and I can sort them by index, and I can sort them by interval and length and stars and all that sort of stuff. So I can get pretty funky on it really when I want to have a look at it. But let's just say, for instance, I want to have a look at this this German mid 50 index. So you can see over here I've got 200 points as the potential, or 194, but I've only completed about 8 points of that. So it's only got 1 star, but we'll have a look at it. It does look like it's got a bit of potential points-wise on it, so we'll just have a look at the pattern and I'll see where we're at. So you can see here that the pattern's telling me that you know, I've got this symmetrical triangle. Okay, I don't like it that much, but I can see that it's broken the top here, but this grey area up here is really what I wanted to show you with the emerging patterns. This is where this pattern recognition software is telling me that it's actually going to go to. So you can see it's emerged here, it's broken through the top. I've got other indicators on here as well that I'd probably look at before I went into this position, but I can see here where it's going to go. So this is interesting to me. And one final thing which you want to do with this, which really is part of the software, and this is a feature that's not that well known, is I actually want to have a look historically how that's gone. So you can see up here I've clicked on that little chart icon on the far right, and you can see it's set up here some history for me. So it's showing me any German mid 50 triangle on this hourly chart that have worked, and I can see here that 13% of them have failed, but we're up around 27% that have hit the top end of that value box, and 13% have hit the bottom end of that value box. So not bad stats. This 47% here makes me a little worried because they're still active, so they haven't finalised yet. They haven't gone into the low, medium or high, or even the failed category yet. So there's still over half these positions are still open. So I'm not going to use these stats, but this is a really good idea what I can do here. Now, while I've got this up, I might actually want to change the analysis on this, and I might want to change it to, say, let's the Aussie 200. Using the same triangle and the same hourly pattern, I can see I've still got quite a lot active, but I've got far less have failed, and I've got a pretty good success rate there of the high value ones. So that could be something that I might want to look at. So I can basically backtest some theories here. Let's just say I want to use an hourly triangle, see if it makes it any better. So this is starting to look a little bit better. I've got a 54% at the top end, I've got 8 in the middle, and I've got 16% in the low end. And I've got a 21% failed rate. So, and only 1% of these are active. So, you know, I'd actually have a look at some of these. I can run some pattern recognition on some of these platforms here, and to see how it goes. So if I go back to the emerging and completed, that was the little icon there I used, and I think it's something that you know, you want to have a look at. I can just start to go through, and you know, I want to use this. A lot of clients are using this, and I certainly would use it as well. It's not the only reason why I'd place a trade, but it would certainly be a reason why I'd have a look at placing a trade. Something like this one here, I've got the Italy 40. I normally wouldn't trade something like that, but it's got a potential on this pattern recognition scanner of 486 points. Now, I can see that it's actually going against it at the moment, but it's only gone 4 points against it. So I'm definitely interested in having a look at this and bringing up the chart. I mean, the pattern recognition is telling me there's quite a hefty little gain here, and it's broken through. It still hasn't come off. It hasn't come through the bottom of this triangle yet, and although that doesn't look like it's confirmed anymore because it's pretty much defunct. I could have a trade on this, and I could place my stop loss just below that area there where it's sitting on the bottom of that now. So, you know, that could be something that that I might want to do, and I can set up a trade to take me out up the top here. And again, before I did that, I'd want to have a quick look at what we've got, what our history looks like in this particular product. Yeah, well, it's all right. I mean, it's making the value box, and only 10% of them are failed, so that's quite interesting to look at. So really important to have a look at that. Now, just before we finish today, the other area of the pattern recognition I wanted to show you was, it's not the scanner, but let me bring up a chart here for you. I'll bring up a currency chart. We'll look at an Aussie. So this is not actually a scanner, but this is applying pattern recognition to the chart. So you can see down the bottom here I've got patterns, and I've got all those patterns that I had there. So I might have tried and apply a wedge and see if there's any wedge formation. You can see all these wedges have come up, so I'll get rid of that. I'll see if I can get something a little bit clearer for you. It starts to apply. I don't know if you can really see that. It doesn't look like it's coming out that well because it's a yellow We've got triple tops here. Doesn't look like there's any triple tops that are formed. Double bottoms, no double bottoms. Let me apply a wedge, and we saw those before. So I'm not actually scanning the market anymore. I'm just starting to have a look at whether actually anything looks like it's forming within the live chart. It's not something that it's going to spit out an alert you for. But if you're just looking at a chart and you're looking for something to confirm, possibly then it's not a bad option for you to use. Okay, thanks very much. If you have any questions, obviously contact our customer support team, and we'll help you out. Thank you for your time.